bottom. The mountain will quickly to do the work. Anyway, by the sun, right down. That could be the game right there. I think it actually is. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Road to Finals. Benson and Max giving you the full breakdown of the year between Optic Gaming and FaZe, and my god, has it been a good one. But as you said, story with Denial, they win COD champs, and then they have some pretty poor performances. X Games the final nail in the coffin. FaZe smelt opportunity. Roster moves went full tempo. It was unbelievable. Just crazy stuff happened, and they find themselves Clay and Attach on this FaZe squad. Enable and Zuma still remain at FaZe, and picking up Clay and Attach, it was like they were the superstars at champs for Denial.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, arguments between back and forth of who really should have been MVP at that event. Obviously Clay, very deserving of it, but Attach, can't take anything away from him. Amazing player all throughout AW. And I mean, when you look at it, you know, Enable and Zuma, your two cornerstones of the team.
Right.
Attach and Hook, you were like, I mean, you could kind of just put, you know, one or the other in. It felt like it was kind of an even trade. Maybe Attach is a little more clutch and search and destroy and has a little more game sense, just playing the game longer.
Right.
And then Clay over Slasher. It was like, look, if you're going to beat OG, Clay, 100%.
Yeah.
You need him as your main battle. He will shut Formal down, and he will open the lanes for your aggressive subs. And I mean, next event, UMG Dallas, they meet in the grand final. OG this time coming from losers bracket.
Yes.
After an upsetting loss to Epsilon North America, and FaZe were on an absolute tear this event.
It was scary to watch, that's for sure. They looked like the FaZe squad that they kind of made.
Yeah, they really picked up.
They played unbelievable, and a lot of that, the hype as well Clay brings to the squad was phenomenal to watch FaZe just really step up to a whole nother level. And you know, they ultimately managed to take that championship as well.
Yeah, and extremely shocking fashion, they sweep OG in the final.
Yep.
FaZe get their second, you know, land win of AW, first since AW opened back in Columbus, first event of the game. And then going to the next event, Gfinity Summer, everyone, now it's like, okay, you know, OG, FaZe, like, you really could pick one or the other to go in and win the event.
Right.
But again, Red Militia coming down to that Game 7, and it was just absolutely disgusting to see FaZe perform, you know, back the only team after this event that had really won back-to-back lands in AW.
Yeah, it was...
other than OG.
It was crazy. This grand final was absolutely ridiculous, but, you know, once again, FaZe come out, manage to best them. And this really was kind of that start, as you said, you know, back-to-back wins now for FaZe. The only other team to do it on Advanced Warfare, guess who? Optic Gaming. So FaZe kind of replied back and like, hey, anything you can do, we can do as well. We're going to prove to you that we're a dominant squad. And now you kind of go back to OG and FaZe after Gfinity. Of course, this is August 2nd, 2015. And it looks a little bit different now. You know, grand final appearances, 10 for Optic Gaming, 7 tournament wins. Okay, so they've dropped 3. And guess who those 3 were? 2. FaZe. Yeah. Yep. And the head-to-head record 4-3. FaZe are back in the lead in that one. 5 grand finals, 3 tournament wins. The 2K, 5K, and 10K wins for FaZe has increased a little bit.
FaZe got some on the board.
But it wasn't really too good.
I mean, at this point, you know, that questionable round on that ride, S&D, Scump, you know, Zuma going across top AC, did he really see them?
Yeah.
It was sitting in fire. Didn't see him, you know, rotated out through bottom lobby.
There's a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, it was a really, really intense game because OG won the first 2 in that series. FaZe won the third, and then OG go up 3-1, and everyone's like, okay, you know.
They won this.
Right, it's over. And then, you know, FaZe just knuckled down. You know, someone like Clayster, having him on your team who can be so hype and get your blood boiling and just like wanting to beat the other team, but he also keeps them composed at the same time.
It's impressive, right?
Yeah,
there's
really
such a fine line between the two of just like getting too excited and losing full composure, and just kind of not getting the team hyped and being too focused.
Exactly.
Yeah. Clay does that absolutely phenomenally, but then
better than anyone, arguably.
Yeah. Oh, I would say without a doubt.
Yeah.
In my mind. But then this is where it gets interesting again. Another plot twist. At this point, you're looking at FaZe thinking, okay, wow, they can compete. They're clearly, you know, very, very dominant squad. Next event to rock up is UMG DC. Everyone expects the Optic Gaming FaZe final once again, but we didn't get it. FaZe monumentally pooped the bed.
Monumentally, I mean, they lose to ISO, who's now
in
their
everywhere.
Group. They're in their group for MLG Finals.
Which, storylines.
Great story, but yeah. So OG ended up going on to win UMG DC. They beat Denial in the grand final, that new Denial squad, with Slasher, Temp, Hook, and Replays. So very strong finish out of that new Denial squad, obviously picking up from after losing Clay and Attach and JCap. But yeah, FaZe, they lose the ISO. Everyone's like, okay, is this a fluke event?
Yeah, like what's going on? Like the consistency just kind of wasn't there.
Right.
And people kind of looked at it and were a little confused by that finish at DC, but they were covered. And then we head over, of course, to Season 3 playoffs, which was one of the most insane events I've ever seen in my entire life. A 7-0 comeback, a best of 7 comeback from 3-0 down, and then the grand final to set the stage, 2 best of 7s. Never been done before in COD. Optic Gaming, of course, they come from winners bracket, FaZe from the losers, and FaZe were pretty tight. They had a lot of games on that championship Sunday.
Just did a 4-0 comeback.
Yeah, they just did a 4-0 comeback against Epsilon, 5-2 down in the S&D as well to come back from that. It was insane. They really showed how much of a dominant squad they were, but going into a double best of 7 grand final, I think everyone had Optic Gaming to take it, except, of course, for the 4 players from the Red Militia. Let's take a look at the montage.
Doing the dirty work, breaking in with Zuma. Zuma got 2 of the kills. Clay assisting both. Clay gonna find another one now on Scump, and FaZe right there has sealed the deal. We got a smart crowd here in Columbus. The applause has already started. FaZe fans are watching a 5-game winning streak now. They came back 4 in a row against Epsilon to get here in the championship match. We thought they might run out of gas. Not yet, Ben. Plenty still in the tank. Gonna have to challenge up close. He's gonna put some shots in up top. Now chasing it, and he will be outshot. Zuma was knocked out of the hard point as well, and there's gonna be 2 players looking his direction if he tries to break in. Karma, now the last man inside for Optic as they try and fan out. And Zuma's gonna be looking for him. There he is. He was standing right behind him. Finds Karma, can't get the second. That's Scump doing the damage. Scump gonna be met by 2 more FaZe players, and he handles the first well. But Scump is inside. They can't allow any contesting. And here it comes in. The player taken care of real quickly. 13 seconds on your clock.
They could tie this. They could still tie this. They could still tie this. If they hold every single second, I'm pretty sure they could potentially tie the game of Karma's overtime. Karma's in. There's the contestant that comes in right at the very end. Is it enough? It is! FaZe take it by 1 point. A massive contest comes in the final seconds.
This has been such an amazing series so far. These 2 teams, ridiculous roads to get here into the championship match.
Scott 3-piece. That was absurd. That was crazy.
Out of the 18 games that FaZe has played today, they've won 12. Looking for their 13th here. Attach inside. Down by 15 seconds. You're going to see Attach milk the final moments on the clock. This hill, it's all about contesting if you're Optic Gaming. You just got to stop FaZe from scoring. Optic's in first. Attach going to break through. The nade landing on a teammate, though. Enable still fighting. Zuma, though, actually staying inside is causing problems. Attach could chase down this drone and convert some points here.
Oh, Crit does get the pass off.
Last second, but Attach not done slaying.
Scump has that drone though. He's just piecing out. He's going and can he get the 1-point play?
Nope.
No,
Big
not
hole.
able to throw it. Enable again on defense. So strong for FaZe this game. And FaZe have that drone thinking about wrapping an Attach. Nice play from him. That 4 in a row. Clayster with the drone. Gonna dunk that one home for 2. 11-3 team FaZe. Zuma turns around. This is a good play from Karma. That's 2 in a row. Prim picks up 3. Optic Gaming should be able to get some points on the board here. It should be a 2-point play.
Oh,
but no. He's bumped in. Now he's not going to get it. Clay and Enable again on defense. A little bit of a mistake comes in for Optic Gaming, but the drone is still alive. It's going to come down. It's going to be, he's going to go down. And FaZe
this time.
stay alive again. Okay, serious passing relay. FaZe not going to allow them to do that. That's a couple of plays go down for Optic, and honestly, they haven't touched it. 25 seconds left. You're down by 5 points. It's almost impossible at this point. In fact, I think it pretty much is impossible. The drone gets reset. FaZe are going to go 2-1 into the lead in the 2nd best of 7. Fantastic plays throughout this uplink comeback from both teams, but really MVP for me, got to be Enable.
You look at the stats, and it was Attach from start to finish. Enable, again, up top with the bow. He's been very efficient with this weapon. You saw him running the submachine gun earlier. Now with the AR in hand, he is doing damage from range. His teammates inside. Enable looking for cut kills. And you're going to see Clayster fall inside. So no more scoring for FaZe. Optic has taken control. Attach, though, just comes in, clears it out. Enable on the flank takes out Formal. They got the spawns. They're safe from the avalanche. And they have a massive lead right now, nearly 50 points. And they continue to roll. You hear Clayster yelling in the venue, the fans feeding off his energy.
Oh, Clay with the good old-fashioned woo right there from him. 24 and 17, leads the team at the half. He is on pace to drop a serious amount of kills.
Formal doesn't see the player to his right, but he's still able to outshoot Clayster.
This is pretty much the exact role we saw Enable do in that first rotation of kills. Pretty much, literally exactly the same thing. And you see again, off to gaming, reducing that lead. Finally, the Zoomer able to break in. What can he do now? Sitting at 26 and 24 for the squad. Just throws stuns out. Can he stay alive? No, he can't. Looking for the trades coming from Attach. He's able to pick up one, but 2 players from off to gaming, just trying to play the life. Enable trying to break in for the backside. Will he be able to pick up one? There's the assist. There's the kill as well. Hardpoint under FaZe control. Crimsix tries to break in. He goes down from Attach. Zoomer goes down. Massive amount of trades currently going on the hardpoint before finally Attach locks it down.
His teammates not giving up. They are still slaying. What a performance by FaZe here on Championship Sunday. They are now within 1 game of taking home first place.
Formal surely gets a rights Attach. Oh, don't get turned on. Surely not. No, picks up the kill now.
All of the
versus
Grim.
2.
The shot caller in a 1v2. 39 seconds remaining. Grim is going to get finished. FaZe will take your Season 3 championship. And
FaZe do what's never been done before.
Never ever.
A double best of 7 win, and they didn't just win 2 best of 7s. They crushed.
They crushed him.
Absolutely dismantled Optic in that grand final. It was just such a dominating performance, and this is where things get very, very interesting. Okay, we've kind of taken a look throughout the whole year, but it's present time now. Present day, these two teams are exactly the same. Let's take a look at head-to-head how the teams kind of compare up. Clay versus Formal. Okay?
This is since UMG Dallas.
A 1.11 against a 1.04 from Formal. Zuma, a 1.24 to Scump 0.93. Attach with a 1.01 to Crim 0.86. Enable with a 1.1 to Comms 0.74.
This is head-to-head since UMG Dallas, so this is going to count that event, it's going to count Gfinity,
Yep.
and it's going to count Season 3 playoffs. Looking at this, it's pretty obvious why FaZe have won the last 3 head-to-head matchups on LAN.
I mean,
Absolutely
it's brutally
ridiculous.
over. I mean, 1.11 overall KD for FaZe, 0.89 overall KD for Optic Gaming. I mean, since that FaZe squad was made, Optic have not beaten them.
They have not. And the only player really, to have positive KD on OG is Formal. I mean, and also, arguably the toughest matchup on the team as well for him going up against Clay. I mean, Scump and Zuma, those really are your 2 matchups to watch when you're going to watch this game. Clay and Zuma versus Formal and Scump.
The crazy thing is how much Zuma excels. A 1.24 against OG?
He stepped his game up enormously since X Games.
That to me is crazy. So of course that now leads us to the most important graphic really of the entire show. OG versus FaZe in a W going into MLG finals. Grand final appearances 6 for FaZe, 12 for OG double. Tournament wins 8 for OG, 4 for FaZe. Then you look at the 2K, 5K, 10K wins. It went up a little bit, but really not the important thing. You just got to look at grand final appearances and tournament wins. And you put these two teams head to head, and it's just been an absolute wonderful year. Every time these two teams play, it's been phenomenal. And it is worth mentioning at this point as well, Optic Gaming have been in every single grand final except for God Champs.
Absolutely mind-blowing.
Just let that sink in. Every single grand final this year, OG has been a part of. That is dominant. They may not have necessarily done the EG call, kind of won everything for a whole year. They've been in the grand final of every tournament except for one.
I mean, EG and Cole, that dynasty, also had their fair share of, 2 LAN losses.
They lost packs.
Lost packs, lost U.S. regionals for Ghost Championships. But, U.S. regionals, it does
Depends
count.
how you look at it.
X doesn't really
I think COD Champs definitely does count.
COD Champs 100% counts.
I think we should just say that.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at it, these numbers rival that dynasty to a sense. When you think of the greatest dynasties in Call of Duty history, right? It's not there. It
hasn't passed it yet.
It hasn't passed it yet, but it got there. If they stick together through Black Ops 3, through Ghost 2, dare I say, but through anything, right?
Please, please, God, no.
Through anything, these numbers are extremely impressive for one season. I mean, 23, 2K, 5K, 10K wins, 4 10K wins out of 6, and then 66 total Pro Point series. But this is where it gets really interesting because these are the head-to-head matchups.
Right, so this is every time Optic and FaZe have played at LAN. Now, AW opens COD Champs, FaZe win 2, and OG win 1.
Right.
Okay? Pre-Clay, this was OG's era. before FaZe picked up Clay, they dominated everything. Formal, without a doubt, was just shredding through players. Then, current day, OG just can't seem to buy a win. That seems to be the moral of the story. 3 wins for FaZe when they've met up head-to-head. FaZe now leads head-to-head against Optic Gaming 5-3, but more importantly, and this for me is where it gets interesting, and this is the storyline that a lot of the players have as well, is the fight for the most dominant roster is in effect. If one of these two teams won out at Worlds, they would have the most dominant roster, which I know to the FaZe guys means a lot. And that means just the core squad would be, the most dominant team, and it's something both teams are really looking at to try and achieve. FaZe really kind of want to add that to their kind of success this year, because they haven't had the most success. When you compare it, I think the best way of explaining it is throughout the entire year, Optic Gaming have been more consistently better.
Right.
You can't argue that. Anyone that tries to argue against that's an idiot. They've been in the grand final of every event except for one. Yes, it was the biggest event, but still.
Every grand
That's
final except for
insane. But now, present day, FaZe are just better. You look at the stats, they are just better. When they play head-to-head, whether it's mental, like we see Zuma step up massively, Clay loves playing against Optic Gaming, used to be a part, old team, that rivalry comes up. Enable and Attach also play extremely well. Just, it's crazy to see.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I really want to talk about, looking at that head-to-head card, I want to get your thoughts on this, but for me, the most crushing loss there, I mean, it might seem like Champs is the easiest one because that's the biggest event of the year.
Right.
Season 3 playoffs, though.
Yeah, 100%, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's, to me, got to be the most crushing loss for OG to FaZe.
And bear in mind, that's in the back of their mind going into Worlds too.
Exactly.
The last time you played against FaZe was a double best of not best of 5. Best of 5, we saw FaZe do that at the start of the game, and OG recovered pretty much instantly. The next event they played, they managed to beat them. But double best of 7?
Double best of 7.
And in the fashion they lost too. It wasn't close.
And the fact that FaZe were one SD round away from losing and being knocked out to Epsilon. They win 4 S&D rounds in a row in that game, and then 3 more games to take out Epsilon in the reverse sweep. And then they go in and play, they have to play questionably 14 more games. Like, at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. Like, second place is good enough. Like, Ben, I'm sorry for teammates. I'm hitting the hay. Sorry. But, like, FaZe so resilient, refusing to quit.
Yep.
And the drive that these players have to constantly get better and prove that they're the best team in AW going into MLG finals might put them over the top. And honestly, you're only as good as your last tournament.
This is true.
If FaZe go out on top, are these numbers that we're mentioning, 12 grand final appearances out of 13, people going to really remember that? Or are they going to remember the fact that FaZe crushed OG in MLG finals?
I mean, it's a great question. But then another interesting aspect comes in when we were talking about NA regionals and we were saying how, maybe for Optic winning that event was a bad thing. Same could be said right now for FaZe. Maybe going into Worlds, are they kind of too ahead of themselves? Do they think that they're going to beat Optic every time they play? Kind of something similar to that. And it's definitely lit a spark under Optic Gaming, I think it's fair to say. I think they are going to go into Worlds probably the best you've ever seen Optic Gaming play, which
100%.
is scary when you consider the success they've had this year as well, which makes, if we see this game, I mean, we're getting so excited about it. There's no guarantee we're even going to see it.
We have to see this. If we don't see it, I'm riding.
We should just make the players play it anyway.
Yeah, just like, because. Okay, like, look, you guys both be knocked out of tournament, but it doesn't matter. You guys are in the grand final anyway.
So that brings me to the final question.
Who wins?
Of the whole show. You nailed it, Max.
Who wins?
Optic Gaming FaZe, MLG Finals, Grand Final.
Denial wins, because that would only make sense.
That doesn't make sense. Who wins? Be honest. I won't crucify you.
I'm gonna take OG.
You're gonna take OG.
I'm gonna take OG.
So you're gonna go against the numbers.
I'm gonna go against the numbers.
Okay.
I'm banking on the fact that they're gonna make the grand final no matter what.
I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Right.
Especially with the pools. We know the pool. They got a very blessed pool.
And honestly, like you said, I mean, FaZe and OG both have pretty easy groups going in.
That's true. FaZe.
But like I said, final event of the year, best of 7 grand final.
Do we see? Oh, do you know what would be crazy?
If we see another best of...
A double best of 7, OG do it back. That would be so sick.
But...
oh, that would be so sick.
Like you said, I think OG will come out and they will look different than they've had all year long.
I agree.
I mean, losing to FaZe, you learn every time you lose. They say, winning is teaching, losing is learning.
Yep.
And That's like a Rambo Ray saying. I love that.
It really is. I mean, he had that as his bio in his Twitter
yeah.
for a very, very long time.
But
God love Ray.
you know, a lot of criticism on Karma coming into this event. Really put any player in that position who's going to play that OBJ role for OG is going to get a lot of criticism. I mean, he's a
you still expect him to put up better numbers than
exactly. I mean, there's so many kills on the map that you can get when you're playing with players like Formal, Scum, and Crim.
Of course.
I mean, and the same thing goes for FaZe, but you know, you see a Naval who consistently does perform.
Right.
For me, that matchup is going to be really key. And then, I mean, which matchup isn't really going to be key?
I think they're all key.
I don't know why I said that.
The crazy thing for me, though, is just the dominant performance Zuma has over Scum. People kind of compare those two head-to-head. A 1.24 from Zuma and a 0.93 from Scum. Yes, they're not just head-to-head gunfights between the two players.
Can I take my... I want to go back to FaZe.
No, you can't. You've already set up the gaming. I would take FaZe. Simply because of the numbers. Like, I'm not
Your
gonna...
hair's the same color.
Exactly, man. You gotta support when your hair is the same color.
My jacket is kind of
green-ish. Yeah, why not? But in all seriousness, you can't go against the numbers. What I do think is going to happen, though. You ready for this? Winners bracket final will be Up to Gaming versus FaZe. OG will stomp FaZe. Stomp. Hardcore destruction. Then we go to another double best of 7. FaZe will win in a game 7. And it's going to go to another game 7.
No way.
Round 11.
I can't see it going.
And we're going to have the greatest 1v1 of Call of Duty. I've been saying it all year, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Apart from...
What would be the greatest 1v1 in this series?
Greatest 1v1 in this series?
Like, if you had to say a 1v1 in a round 11.
Crim versus Clay.
Crim versus Clay?
Crim versus Clay.
What about Formal versus Clay?
Nah, Crim Clay.
Crim Clay. But Formal versus Clay, would that not answer who's the best AR? Imagine that, a round 11 1v1.
Like, these...
Really?
Like, all of these players have had an amazing season. The storylines follow all of these players. I mean, Formal coming over from NV at the end of Ghosts and putting this team together. But for me, it's Crim. You know, Crim comes from EG.
Crim's the mastermind behind the whole thing.
Crim kind of was the mastermind. It comes over from EG. And again, like, I don't want to say a lot of pressure to perform, but, you know, there's still like, you know, he was on EG. Can he do it with OG now too, with a whole different squad? And I mean, he has his teammate, you know, that he did it with Karma.
Right.
And then obviously playing against Clay, his old teammate as well. It would just be intense to see that in a game 7, round 11.
I want to know the answer to this question because I'm asking you.
I don't know.
I want to see your opinion.
I don't know.
Going into finals, who's your MVP of AW so far? I want you to say it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Clay.
Clayster.
Oh, you said
Okay,
Clayster.
good.
I said Clay.
Clay.
I was gonna say
make sure that we're on
say like Goonjar, but I didn't want to get Citadel Gaming top of Group D.
Yeah, maybe. Why not? Yeah.
But
who knows? Those Aussies, they're crazy over there.
But yeah, 100%.
I was curious because there is a big debate, Scumpy versus Clay. I think you look at Scump's year, massive argument that you can say he deserves MVP status. For me, the only way Scump takes MVP of AW
did they win finals?
If they win finals.
Yeah, me too.
Which sounds absurd, but you have MVP of COD champs. You know, now Clay, current form is out of his mind. Guy simply isn't losing. Yes, you can look at DC and be like, well, they had a poor event there, but head-to-head, that's what I'm measuring this off. The head-to-head performances. Can FaZe be upset by a team? Of course they can. We saw ISO. Can Up to Gaming be upset by teams? Of course they can.
Epsilon pushed to the very limit.
Right, and they basically threw that series away. They had a 3-0 lead.
They threw that harder than Randy Johnson.
I mean, we have seen Epsilon NA beat Up to Gaming as well. You go back in time when Swanee was still playing. So this is what makes it interesting. Both these two teams are beatable. 100% beatable.
Right.
But they're so dominant in their own right. And when they play against each other, it really is. It's like just the ultimate clash. It's what you want to see.
Yeah, and I mean, Clay really did have two poor finishes to start off the season as well on Envy. Like, people don't really remember Clay was on Envy for a little
Everyone seems to forget that he was on Envy.
Yeah, they were like, oh, he's on Denial, and that's where he started. No, like,
yeah.
That team with Nameless didn't really work out so well with Merc and JCap as well.
Decided he didn't want to play with JCap, and then decided that he did want to play with JCap and won a World Championship with him.
I mean, funny how things work out sometimes. But, I mean, it's so hard to doubt him. You know, like, going in, so we have, like majors, like champs, X Games, MLG finals.
Right.
Like, OG or FaZe didn't win champs, but you have Clay, which adds that, Clay and Attach, which add that.
Right.
You know, like, you kind of give it to FaZe in general.
This is
and
true.
then you have, you know, OG, who absolutely dominated X Games.
Right.
Played against a different FaZe squad completely.
Yep.
But then you have finals, and FaZe look unbeatable right now. And I mean, it's hard for me to take my. It's hard to doubt FaZe.
Right.
But then at the same time, it's like, you know, like, how can you?
I mean,
how can you not?
Last massive tournament, you look at COD champs, both teams underperformed.
Right.
When you kind of say, I mean, yes, FaZe did a little bit better, but still, it wasn't the placements they would have liked. Yeah,
Right.
they were both shooting for the grand final.
Or
That's
OG,
what it
OG rather. Count out OG. You know what I meant.
Yeah. Going into finals, though, it's going to be insane. I pray that we get to see this as a grand final. I really do, because it would just be the ultimate way to really send off Advanced Warfare.
Or we get a COD Champ situation and Denial doesn't top their group. Or, sorry, FaZe doesn't top their group because of ISO.
Yo, can you imagine that?
And then,
if ISO beats FaZe in their group, and then all of a sudden they're on the same side.
And Optic Nation win that group, and then Optic Nation win
all right, now you're out of
finals.
control. Anyway, that's going to conclude episode 3 of Road to Finals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. There's one more episode left. We haven't really revealed much about it. I can tell you it's going to be badass. It's going to be Wednesday, 5 p.m. EST, right here, mlg.tv/ESR. Hopefully you enjoyed today's show. See you guys on Wednesday.